Emily bounded around her mother, Sarah, with an exuberance that could only be compared to a young puppy discovering the world for the first time. Her long, golden locks flowed behind her like a silken river of sunlight as she twirled in gleeful circles, her sparkling blue eyes reflecting the fervent anticipation of a young woman on the brink of adulthood. The William family's grand suburban home, a symbol of their love and success, was a whirlwind of activity and joy as preparations for Emily's monumental 18th birthday party reached their peak. If you are not subscribed, I recommend you subscribe and activate the bell so you don't miss any videos. Mom, I can hardly wrap my head around how incredible this party is. You and Dad have gone above and beyond. I love you both more than words can express. Emily squealed with uncontained delight, her voice a melody of pure happiness. She enveloped her mother in a heartfelt hug, her arms wrapping around Sarah with all the warmth and affection she could muster. The familiar scent of Sarah's perfume, a tender blend of jasmine and vanilla, washed over Emily, filling her with a profound sense of comfort and nostalgia. Sarah lovingly stroked her daughter's hair, her face adorned with a bittersweet smile that spoke volumes of her emotions. Of course, my sweet girl. Turning 18 is such a monumental occasion. But I must admit, both your father and I are feeling a pang of sadness. Our precious baby is all grown up now, and it tugs at our hearts. Emily playfully rolled her eyes, her grin widening as she pulled back to meet her mother's gaze with a mixture of affection and humor. Oh, Mom, don't be so melodramatic. It's not like I'm leaving home tomorrow or anything drastic like that. Sarah chuckled softly, though her voice carried a subtle note of wistfulness. I understand, darling. But it's true that in the blink of an eye, you'll be heading off to college, then perhaps taking steps toward marriage and a life of your own, leaving us behind to navigate this grand, empty house. Never, Emily declared with an earnestness that belied her age, her embrace tightening as if to cement her promise. I'll never leave you and Dad. I'm going to stay right here with you forever. Sarah raised an eyebrow, her green eyes dancing with a blend of amusement and curiosity. Now, and what about Jake? I've heard whispers of how close you two have become. A deep blush colored Emily's cheeks, and she busied herself with adjusting the vase of flowers as if it could somehow distract from her flustered state. Jake? Oh, he's just a friend, Mom. Nothing more. Sarah's knowing hum was filled with warmth and understanding. Ah, friends can often be more than we realize. You're growing up, Emily, and with that comes the unfolding of new chapters in life. It's all part of the journey, full of beautiful twists and turns. Emily let out a dramatic sigh, collapsing onto the luxuriously soft sofa with a theatrical flourish. All right, I get it. But I promise once I do move out, I'll visit constantly. Now, can we please shift our focus to something much more pressing, like finding the perfect outfit for tomorrow? Sarah's laughter rang out, a welcome release from the earlier tension. Of course, my little fashionista. Let's dive into your closet and discover the ultimate ensemble for the birthday girl. As they made their way upstairs, Sarah's heart was heavy with an unspoken burden. She couldn't shake the guilt gnawing at her. If only Emily were aware of the truth. The secret that Sarah and Robert had shielded for 18 long years weighed heavily on her conscience. Meanwhile, in a vastly different part of town, Kate was racing down the street with a sense of urgency. Her worn second-hand sneakers slapped rhythmically against the cracked, uneven pavement. Her long blonde hair pulled back haphazardly into a messy ponytail swayed with each hurried step. The dilapidated buildings and graffiti-splattered walls stood in stark contrast to the pristine beauty of Emily's affluent neighborhood. Kate had recently landed a job at Bella Luna, an upscale Italian restaurant that seemed worlds away from her reality. Eager to prove herself, she had pleaded for a position as a waitress. Mr. Thompson, the gruff owner with furrowed brows and a no-nonsense demeanor, had been clear in his terms. You start as a dishwasher, he had stated firmly. Show me you've got what it takes, and maybe we'll discuss moving you up to a waiting position. Got it." Kate had nodded with a fervent determination, her heart pounding with resolve. She needed this job, desperately needed the income to fund her dream of attending community college in the fall. Her future depended on this opportunity, and she was resolved to make it count. Lost in thoughts about her shift, Kate's focus was solely on her goals when her foot caught on an uneven patch of sidewalk. She stumbled, bracing herself for the inevitable fall onto the unforgiving concrete. But the impact never came. Instead, she felt strong, reassuring arms wrap around her, stabilizing her with unexpected gentleness. The scent of fresh citrusy cologne filled her senses, providing a brief, comforting distraction. "Oh, are you okay?" a deep, concerned voice asked. Kate looked up, her gaze meeting warm, inviting brown eyes. The guy who had caught her was undeniably attractive, tall, with tousled dark hair and a smile that radiated kindness. His strong hands remained on her arms, sending a surprising jolt of electricity through her. Yeah, I'm fine," Kate stammered, feeling her cheeks flush with a deep pink hue. "Thank you." The guy flashed a charming grin, his white teeth contrasting with his tan skin. "No problem at all. Just be careful next time, okay? We wouldn't want anything to happen to that pretty face of yours." Kate's blush deepened, and she instinctively took a step back, becoming acutely aware of the proximity between them. "Right, thanks again. I've got to get going." She hurried away, her heart racing as she rounded the corner. Unable to resist, she stole a glance back. The guy was still standing there, watching her with a look of amused interest. He gave her a small wave, and Kate quickly turned away, her face flushed as she continued her brisk walk to work, her thoughts a whirlwind of embarrassment and excitement. Kate shook her head vigorously, trying to clear her thoughts and refocus. She had neither the time nor the luxury to dwell on charming distractions, regardless of how attractive they might be. Her mind was set on the monumental challenges ahead, and she needed to keep her eyes on the prize. Yet, despite her best efforts, she couldn't quite banish the lingering memory of those warm, brown eyes and that radiant, disarming smile. The following evening, Bella Luna was abuzz with frenetic energy. Every corner was festooned with festive bows and shimmering streamers, transforming the upscale Italian restaurant into a vibrant tapestry of celebration. The air was alive with the merry hum of animated conversations and the clinking of champagne flutes. The rich, savory aroma of garlic and simmering tomato sauce mingled with the sweet, fragrant scent of fresh flowers arranged elegantly on every table. Kate, now clad in a crisp white shirt and black slacks, darted between tables with a stack of dirty dishes precariously balanced in her arms. A pang of envy gnawed at her as she observed the opulent affair unfolding before her eyes. The guests, draped in designer garments and adorned with glistening jewels, radiated an air of wealth and sophistication. The contrast between their world and her own felt so stark that it seemed almost otherworldly. "Must be nice," she murmured to herself, her eyes drifting toward the birthday girl who was the focal point of the festivities. The young woman was surrounded by a throng of adoring friends and family, laughing heartily and basking in the spotlight. Kate felt a sharp aching in her chest, a fleeting glimpse of longing for the kind of love and celebration that seemed to define this night. At that moment, Mr. Thompson appeared at her side, his usually stern expression deepening into an even more severe frown. "Kate, I need you on the floor." Melissa twisted her ankle and were short-staffed. "Can you handle it?" Kate's heart skipped a beat with a rush of excitement. "Really? Yes, absolutely. I won't let you down." "Mr. Thompson gave a curt nod, his gaze unyielding. "Make sure you don't. Get changed and get out there." With a burst of adrenaline, Kate hurried to the back, her heart pounding with a cocktail of nervousness and anticipation. This was her golden opportunity to shine. As she slipped into the waitress uniform, a sleek black skirt, and a crisp white blouse, she glanced at her reflection in the mirror, giving herself a motivational pep talk. "You've got this," she whispered, smoothing her hair. "Just keep smiling and stay polite. You can do this." Emerging in her new uniform, notepad in hand, Kate took a deep breath and faced the bustling restaurant. The noise and commotion seemed to swell around her, but she squared her shoulders and put on her brightest smile. This was the moment she had been waiting for, a chance to demonstrate her abilities. With renewed resolve, she stepped onto the floor. For the next hour, Kate was a whirlwind of activity, taking orders, delivering drinks, and clearing tables with deft efficiency. Despite the chaos, she felt a thrilling sense of exhilaration. This was where she belonged, and she thrived in the fast-paced environment. Even when she narrowly avoided a disaster by catching a tray of drinks with lightning reflexes, she didn't let it throw her off. Then came the pivotal moment that would alter everything. Kate, the manager's voice cut through the clamor, beckoning her over. "Table 12 needs your attention. The birthday girl has requested something." Kate nodded, adjusting her shirt as she made her way toward the center table. Her palms were clammy with nerves, and she wiped them discreetly on her skirt. This was the VIP table, the epicenter of tonight's grand celebration. She knew she couldn't afford to make any mistakes. "Good evening," she began, her smile perfectly rehearsed. "What can I get for you?" Her voice faltered as she locked eyes with the birthday girl. The shock was instantaneous. This girl was a mirror image of herself. The same flowing blonde hair, the same striking blue eyes, the same heart-shaped face. Even the small mole just above her left eyebrow was identical to Kate's own. A hush fell over the restaurant as the resemblance became glaringly obvious. The birthday girl's mother went visibly pale, her champagne glass slipping from her trembling fingers and shattering on the floor. Her father's face drained of color, looking as though he might faint. The birthday girl's voice broke through the stunned silence, trembling with confusion and disbelief. "Mom, Dad, what's happening? Who is she?" Kate, her hands trembling uncontrollably, struggled to maintain her composure. "What would you like to order?" she managed to stammer, her voice barely above a whisper. Emily's father, his voice a strained rasp, finally spoke up. "I think we're done here." In a swift, almost magical appearance, Mr. Thompson appeared at Kate's side. With a hurried and anxious glance at the bewildered family, he gently but firmly guided her away. "Take your break," he instructed, his voice tight with urgency. As Kate hurried to the break room, her heart pounded in her chest. The restaurant seemed to swell with a cacophony of whispers and speculations, the noise blending into a disorienting roar. She stumbled into the employee break room, gasping for breath, her mind racing with questions. What had just happened? Who was this girl who looked so astonishingly like her? An hour later, Kate found herself in Mr. Thompson's cramped, dimly lit office. The air was thick with tension, palpable and almost suffocating. Across from her sat Emily and her parents, their expressions a mix of shock and sorrow. Emily, her face streaked with tears, looked as if she might dissolve into sobs at any moment. Kate, still grappling with the shock, finally found her voice. "I don't understand. How could we possibly look so much alike?" Sarah, Emily's mother, took a deep, shuddering breath before speaking. Her voice wavered, barely containing her emotions. I've been meaning to tell you, Kate. I don't know how to begin, but Emily is adopted. You look so much like her. We think there might be a connection." The room fell into a heavy, oppressive silence. Kate stared at Sarah, her mind a whirlwind of confusion and disbelief. Could it be? Was it truly possible that she was related to Emily, that she might be her long-lost sister? As the weight of the revelation began to settle on her, Kate's legs felt like jelly. She turned her gaze to Emily, who looked back at her with a mixture of bewilderment and tentative hope. "You think I could be your sister?" Emily nodded slowly, tears cascading down her cheeks. "I don't even know what to say. Mom and Dad never told me about this, but you." Sarah, her voice choked with a mix of sorrow and regret, interjected, "We never intended to keep it a secret from you, but we thought we were protecting you. Your birth mother. She was a dear friend of mine. She asked us to care for you before she passed away." Kate's heart raced as she absorbed Sarah's words. The enormity of the situation was almost too much to bear. She had always harbored a quiet, persistent curiosity about her biological family, but to discover that she had a sister and an entire family right here, in this very moment, was almost overwhelming. Kate's mind swirled with a whirlwind of emotions: shock, disbelief, hope, and a profound sense of connection. The gravity of the discovery was profound, and as she looked at Emily, she saw not just a stranger but a reflection of herself, a missing piece of her own life, suddenly brought into sharp focus. Emily extended a tentative hand, her eyes filled with a mix of hope and vulnerability. "Do you want to come home with us? We can talk more there." Kate's emotions were a tangled mess: confusion, fear, and excitement all swirling together. Yet the sincerity in Emily's offer and the warmth in her eyes were undeniably inviting. After a moment's hesitation, Kate nodded, her voice barely audible. "Yes, I'd like that." As they exited the restaurant together, Kate's heart pounded with a potent blend of anticipation and apprehension. Her world had been irrevocably altered in the span of a single evening, yet for the first time in her life, she felt a flicker of hope igniting within her. She was on the precipice of a new chapter, one that promised the familial bonds and affection she had always yearned for. Meanwhile, Robert, his graying hair slightly disheveled, shifted nervously from one foot to the other. His gaze darted between Sarah, Emily, and Kate as he began to recount the painful history. His voice trembled as he spoke of Sarah's harrowing birth experience, the devastating loss of their biological child, and his desperate, heart-wrenching decision to adopt one of the twins born to a mother who had relinquished them. The story felt surreal, like a dramatic script too implausible to be true. "I couldn't bear to see your mother suffer," Robert said, his eyes pleading as he looked at Sarah. "I thought I was doing the right thing by giving us a chance to have a family again." Emily sat in stunned silence, tears streaming freely down her cheeks. Her once perfect makeup was now smudged, and her meticulously styled hair was a disheveled mess. Sarah's face was ashen, her knuckles white from gripping the arms of her chair, as if to anchor herself against the storm of emotions swirling around her. Kate, meanwhile, felt as though the ground had been ripped out from beneath her. All her life, she had harbored a deep curiosity about her birth parents and fantasized about who they might be. But the reality of her newfound family was beyond her wildest imaginings. "So we're sisters," Emily's voice was a whisper, laden with both awe and trepidation. Her eyes locked onto Kate's with a mixture of wonder and fear, as though she struggled to reconcile the sight before her with the enormity of the truth. Kate could only nod slowly, her throat constricted with emotion. "Twins, I guess." Robert turned to Kate, his face etched with deep regret. "I am profoundly sorry, Kate. No words can undo the pain I've caused, but please understand that my actions were driven by a desire to protect my family. I never intended to hurt anyone." Kate sat in stunned silence, her mind reeling from the revelations. A part of her wanted to scream, to lash out at this man who had separated her from her sister, who had condemned her to a life of uncertainty. But another part of her, one she struggled to comprehend, felt an unexpected sense of relief. She was not alone, she had found a family. "I need some time to process all of this," Kate said, finally pushing herself to her feet. Her legs felt unsteady, and she had to lean against the desk to regain her balance. "I should get back to work." As she made her way toward the door, Emily's voice broke through, cracking with emotion. "Wait, can we talk later, please?" Kate paused her hand on the doorframe. She turned to face Emily, offering a tentative nod. "Yes, I'd like that. We have a lot to talk about." As Kate walked out of the restaurant, it felt as if she had been transported to an entirely new reality, one where she had a sister, where she wasn't alone anymore. The blend of terror and exhilaration was overwhelming, a whirlwind of emotion she hadn't anticipated. The rest of her shift blurred together as she performed her duties on autopilot, her thoughts spinning like a tornado. Every time she caught her reflection in a mirror or polished surface, the realization hit her anew: she was Kate, Emily's twin sister, and the daughter Robert and Sarah Williams had once given up. The cool night air was a welcome relief after the oppressive heat inside the restaurant. Kate felt both lighter and heavier than she ever had before. Her life had shifted dramatically in just a few hours, and as she walked home under the canopy of stars, she couldn't help but wonder about the future that lay ahead. The night sky seemed vast and endless, full of possibilities and uncertainties. Over the next few weeks, Kate and Emily seized every opportunity to bond. They spent countless hours together, discovering how they were alike and the subtle differences that made each of them unique. They found they shared not just physical similarities, but also common tastes and interests. Their conversations ranged from trivial matters like favorite foods and TV shows to deep philosophical discussions about their lives and the paths they wanted to take. One sunny afternoon, they sat together in a park near Kate's apartment, the golden sunlight casting a warm glow over everything. Emily, her eyes twinkling with mischief, turned to Kate. "So spill the beans. Any cute guys in your life?" Kate felt a flush rise to her cheeks, her mind immediately flashing back to the handsome stranger she had encountered that day on the street. His warm brown eyes and dazzling smile had left an impression on her that she couldn't shake. "Not really," she said, trying to sound nonchalant as she picked at a blade of grass. "I've been too focused on work and school to think about dating." Emily's playful nudge nearly toppled them both off the park bench. "Come on, there must be someone. Ooh, what about that cute doctor at the children's home we visited last week? I saw the way he looked at you." Kate's blush deepened as she recalled Dr. Ethan's kind smile and the gentle way he had interacted with her. "Dr. Ethan? We're just friends." Emily hummed thoughtfully, her tone reminiscent of their mother's knowing voice. "Well, friend or not, he's totally into you. You should go for it." Kate laughed, the ease with which she and Emily had fallen into their sisterly dynamic still surprising her. It felt like they had known each other forever, despite the years of separation. "Maybe. What about you and Jake? How are things going there?" Emily's cheeks flushed a delicate pink as she looked away, her gaze dropping to the grass. "It's complicated. I like him, but with everything that's happened, I don't know. It's a lot to process." Kate reached out and squeezed Emily's hand, the gesture feeling incredibly natural, as though they had been comforting each other for years. "I get it, but don't let this change who you are or what you want. You deserve to be happy." Emily's eyes welled up with tears, and she smiled through them. "So do you, Kate. So do you." As the days went by, Kate and Emily continued to explore their newfound relationship. They spent weekends visiting places they both loved, discovering new hobbies together, and even cooking meals for each other. Each day felt like a new adventure, filled with laughter and heartfelt conversations. The bond they shared seemed to grow stronger with every passing moment. One evening, as they were sitting in Kate's modest living room, Emily looked around with a thoughtful expression. "You know, Kate, I've been thinking, we have so much catching up to do, but we also need to find a way to make this work with Mom and Dad. They've been through so much, and now they have to deal with the fallout of their decisions." Kate nodded, her heart heavy with the weight of the past. "I know, It's not going to be easy, but I think we can work through it together. We have each other now." Emily smiled, her eyes shining with determination. "Absolutely. And we'll face everything as a team. Together we can handle whatever comes our way." The sisters embraced, the warmth of their connection enveloping them. For the first time in her life, Kate felt a profound sense of belonging and hope. She had found not just a sister but a family she never knew she had. The road ahead might be uncertain, but with Emily by her side, Kate felt ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The future, once a distant and daunting unknown, now seemed full of promise and possibility. The room fell silent as Robert's words hung in the air. Kate looked around the table, taking in the expectant faces of Sarah, Emily, and Robert. She had spent so many years on her own, navigating life with little support, that the offer seemed almost surreal. Emily's eyes were full of hope, and Sarah's expression was a mix of anticipation and nervousness. Kate could sense the weight of their unspoken wishes and the complexity of their offer. For a moment, Kate's mind raced. She remembered the countless nights she had spent worrying about her future, the long hours working to make ends meet, and the dreams she had for herself. The thought of accepting help from the Williams family was both daunting and enticing. It meant accepting their place in her life and acknowledging the role they now played in her story. "Are you sure?" Kate asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "I don't want to impose or make things awkward." Robert leaned forward, his eyes earnest. "Kate, it's not an imposition. We've had a lot of time to think about how we can make things right. We know we've missed so much, but we want to support you in every way we can." Sarah reached across the table, placing a gentle hand on Kate's. "We've wanted to help you from the beginning, but we didn't know how. This is our way of showing you that we care and that we want to be a part of your future." Kate looked at Emily, who gave her a reassuring nod. The connection between them was strong, and Kate could see the sincerity in her family's eyes. It was clear that they were offering more than just financial support. They were offering their commitment, their love, and their desire to make amends for the past. After a deep breath, Kate nodded slowly. "Thank you. I appreciate it. It means a lot to me to know that you're here for me, and I want to make the most of this opportunity." Robert's face relaxed into a relieved smile, and Sarah's eyes shimmered with tears of happiness. Emily squeezed Kate's hand, her smile wide and full of genuine joy. The atmosphere at the table shifted, and the tension that had previously lingered seemed to dissolve into a warm, comforting embrace. Dinner continued with a renewed sense of togetherness. The conversation flowed more easily, and laughter began to fill the room. Kate felt a growing sense of belonging, a feeling she had longed for but had never truly experienced until now. As the evening wore on, she found herself more at ease with her new family, appreciating the moments of connection and shared experiences. In the weeks that followed, Kate and Emily continued to build their relationship, navigating the ups and downs of integrating into the Williams family. There were still moments of discomfort and adjustment, but the love and support they shared helped to bridge the gaps. Kate found herself more confident in her role, and she began to embrace the opportunities that came her way with a renewed sense of hope and purpose. One rainy afternoon, as Kate and Emily huddled together under an umbrella, walking through the park where they had first talked about their new lives, Emily turned to her sister with a thoughtful expression. "You know, Kate, it's amazing how much has changed. We've come so far in such a short time." Kate nodded, her eyes reflecting the gray sky above. "It is. I never imagined that my life would turn out this way, but I'm grateful for everything that's happened. I feel like I finally have a family, a place where I belong." Emily smiled, her gaze filled with warmth. "And I'm grateful for you. You've brought so much into my life. It's like we've always been meant to find each other." As they continued their walk, the rain falling gently around them, Kate felt a deep sense of contentment. The road ahead would undoubtedly have its challenges, but with Emily by her side and the support of her new family, Kate felt ready to face whatever came her way. The future, once an uncertain and daunting prospect, now seemed full of promise and possibility. Kate lay in bed, her thoughts a swirl of past pain and newfound hope. The room, adorned with soft lighting and warm tones, felt comforting, a stark contrast to the cold and impersonal spaces she had grown accustomed to. The guest room was becoming more than just a temporary haven. It was beginning to feel like a place where she truly belonged. As she stared at the ceiling, her mind replayed the evening's events. The laughter around the dinner table, Emily's teasing about college boys, the sincere offers of support from Sarah and Robert, it all felt like a dream she wasn't sure she was ready to wake up from. For so long, Kate had navigated life alone, her only constants being her dreams of a better future and her determination to make it on her own. Now, she had something far more precious, a family. Kate's thoughts turned to Emily, her twin sister who had come into her life with such a sudden and profound impact. Their bond was uncanny, the way they seemed to intuitively understand each other, laugh at the same things, and even share the same quirks. It was as if they had been separated only yesterday and were now making up for lost time. The realization that she had someone who not only resembled her but also shared her life experiences was both comforting and astonishing. The past few weeks had been a whirlwind of emotions. Kate had navigated through a spectrum of feelings, from the initial shock of meeting her sister to the gradual acceptance of her new family. Each day brought a discovery about herself and her family, and each night Kate found herself reflecting on how her life had transformed. The path to healing and understanding would be long and winding, but she was determined to face it with the same resilience she had always relied on. As Kate turned onto her side, she thought about her future. College was no longer just a distant dream, it was an imminent reality. The idea of starting this new chapter with the support of her family was both exhilarating and daunting. She knew there would be hurdles to overcome, adjusting to the dynamics of a new family, dealing with unresolved feelings of abandonment and loss, and finding her place in a world that had suddenly expanded to include more than just herself. But with Emily's support and the tentative goodwill of Sarah and Robert, Kate felt a renewed sense of purpose. The next morning, as the sunlight streamed through the curtains, Kate woke up with a sense of anticipation. The day promised new beginnings and continued bonding with her family. She was excited to see what the future held, not just in terms of her education and career, but in the personal connections she was forging. She envisioned spending weekends with Emily, exploring new places, and making up for lost time. She imagined dinners with Robert and Sarah, where the conversation flowed freely, and laughter filled the air. As she prepared for the day, Kate felt a lightness in her step, a stark contrast to the heaviness that had once weighed her down. She was no longer just Kate, the girl who had spent years searching for her place in the world. She was Kate, a twin sister, a daughter, and a member of a family that had found her against all odds. Kate walked into the kitchen to find Emily already there, humming along to a song on the radio and preparing breakfast. Emily looked up and smiled, her expression bright and welcoming. "Good morning. Ready for another day of sister bonding?" Kate grinned, feeling a surge of affection for her sister. "Absolutely. What's on the agenda today?" Emily's eyes sparkled with excitement. "How about we explore the city a bit? There's this amazing farmers market I've been dying to check out, and I thought it might be fun to do a little shopping for your college supplies. What do you think?" Kate laughed, feeling a sense of joy she hadn't experienced in years. "Sounds perfect. Lead the way." As they set out for the day, Kate felt a profound sense of gratitude. She was stepping into a new world with open arms, ready to embrace the opportunities and challenges that lay ahead. With Emily by her side and a family who wanted to make things right, Kate felt ready to face whatever came her way. The future was no longer a daunting unknown, it was a promising adventure, full of love, growth, and endless possibilities. As we wrap up this incredible journey of rediscovery and emotional connection, we hope you found inspiration in Kate's story. It's a powerful reminder that even in the most unexpected of circumstances, there is always the potential for healing, growth, and the deepening of relationships. The idea of finding family where you least expect it, of navigating complex emotions and rebuilding trust, speaks to the resilience and hope we all carry within us. What about you? What have you learned from Kate's journey? Is there something you've discovered that resonates with your own life or relationships? We'd love to hear your thoughts and how you might apply these insights to your own experiences. Please leave a comment below and share one lesson or practice you're taking away from this story. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, don't forget to hit the like button, share with friends, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us bring more inspiring stories and valuable insights to you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video.